Welcome to Fitness Pro Chat by Fiterobic. Now, on to the show.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Today we have a very interesting topic to talk on Fitness Pro Chat with Fiterobic. Joining me today is Mehek Wadhwa. She is an expert in Hasta Mudra. Hasta Mudra is an ancient yogic way of life, and we are going to discuss more about the nuances of Hasta Mudra and learn more from her on how exactly Hasta Mudra can enhance simple practices that can enhance our day-to-day lives. Welcome to the show, Mehek. What exactly happens when we start Hasta Mudra?
हम लोगों ने स्कूल में फिजिक्स में सर्किट डायग्राम सीखे थे जब द पॉजिटिव कैथोड वायर से जोड़ते हैं स्विच के फ्लो ऑफ एनर्जी वाइटल force in our body.
Wow.
And imbalance in any of those elements can be, so to say, rectifying with that. हम सब all the best बोलते हैं आजकल लाइट्स हो गया है लेकिन अगर हम हमारे एंशिएंट स्क्रिप्चर्स में देखें तो राजतिलक होता था that is fire element. Now going to the other extreme, since childhood it's a universal thing. The pinky finger is for urinating, the water element, basically. Right? Any water body is going to be set. So the ring finger represents the earth. And up जब horizon में जमीन फैली हुई है and आसमान आता है. The ether or the आकाश. And that's the longest finger. आकाश सबसे ऊंचा है. So middle finger, the tallest finger is आकाश. And अब एक ही एलिमेंट बचा एक आकाश में क्या है हवा है सो द इंडेक्स फिंगर represents the air. So it's starting from thumbs up, the fire.
It can be repeat it once again. So we have a leaf.
Yes.
We have water.
Water is always surrounded by our earth body.
So
the Panchabhuta qualities is in the power of all of us individually, and we do not realize it that we carry such power in ourselves. One other mudra that is Gyan Mudra. And there are so many, Rishi Munis and many yoga practitioners do it by meditating, by touching their index finger and thumb. So, what mental clarity and concentration, how does it get enhanced when we slip into Gyan Mudra pose?
So like I said, tip of index finger touching tip of thumb. Now, index finger is air element, thumb is fire element. So when we touch the tip of thumb to tip of any finger, that particular element gets balanced. There is a Sanskrit saying in Hasta which says "Chale Vata." वापे चले चित्तम बस जिस तरह से हमारी बॉडी ब्रेथ चलती है that is directly connected to our mind. So to bring, sometimes it is very difficult, especially in this time and age of reels of 15 seconds, etc. It's very difficult. There's too much overload of information available everywhere.
Yes.
So to have control on our mind, it is not easy, doesn't come easily to everyone.
Absolutely. Yet
when we just try to regulate our breath or the air factor, that is where mind can be regulated and controlled. So when there is a balance of the air element with the tip of thumb, that is where our mind starts becoming stable. So that is how Gyan Mudra helps.
Okay, and the other side of Gyan Mudra is Chinna Mudra. It's like putting our thumbs on the opposite side, if I'm correct, and sitting whenever we are in a Dhyan Magna pose. How are two different, and what role each of these plays in our Hasta Mudra? Okay.
So in Hasta Mudra, let us say when we face our palm up, we are receiving divine grace, divine energy. So that is receiving divine grace, divine energy. So this part is Gyan Mudra, where it is face up. And when our palms face down, we are connecting to the Mother Earth, so to say, or grounding ourselves. So human beings, like it is said, we are souls on this earth for human experience. So we do have a spirit. We are spiritual beings, yet we have a connection to this samsara. So we need a balance between a spiritual connect and this life experience of being a yogi. Exactly. Facing the Gyan Mudra, palm facing downward, it becomes Chinna Mudra, keeping us grounded. And facing the Gyan Mudra with palms upwards helps us receive divine. It may have some yogis or some meditators, either it is throughout they keep the palms up, some may keep the palm facing down, and there is also a tendency where one palm is raised facing upwards, the other palm is kept facing downwards. So, grounding and receiving the divine grace both together.
It is, again, very intricate. I think something which is very simple things in our lives, and we are unaware about such kind of, say, intricacies in our life that we can actually adapt daily to become a little more aware about ourselves. Most cases, we are busy with our day-to-day lives and a lot of stress around, and these are some of the ways, easier ways कि हम घर में खुद शांत बैठ करके we can try some of these poses and get that mental clarity when needed. I also was reading and came across Vishnu Mudra, and I want to understand more about it, especially alternate nostril breathing, and this is something which is now being very much popularized as well. So how do you see that it actually can help us, especially why does it require, say, less hand movement when we are trying alternate nostril breathing?
To be honest, before I kind of completed or before I started doing my yoga teacher training course, I was just in college. I also unknown techniques. There was a tendency, and I've seen many of my students and clients do that. They use the thumb. Literally, the nasal septum is twisted away, and it's okay. Only when we learn, we grow, we understand. So, talking about Vishnu Mudra. Vishnu Mudra, there are two variations of what I have understood of Vishnu Mudra. Index finger and the middle finger, Agya Chakra. So to say, when the tip of index finger and the tip of middle finger get placed on the Agya Chakra, Agya Chakra is stimulated and activated, the point of intuition and knowledge, and thumb, which is the represents the fire element, and preferably the ring finger, which is the earth element, is used to construct the nostril, and the little finger is kept straight. Correct? I'll just demonstrate that and tell you more about it. So either we keep it on the Agya Chakra, like I mentioned earlier, or we face the index finger and the middle finger towards the palm. Now, palm in Hasta Mudra, what I have read first, comes as our mind. So our mind is in our hands, so to say. Sorry, our best friend or foe, and that's the reason we need to regulate our mind.
Yes.
So, isliye, going a little off track from Vishnu Mudra, yet I feel this is very important, which I was introduced to probably in my 6th grade, my model class teacher, and even my yoga guru, Dr. Hansraj Yadav, have reintroduced this prayer to me. It is said that we need to do a short prayer, which is Karagre Vasipri Lakshmi. That is on the tip of our hands is Goddess Lakshmi. Then Kara Madhye Saraswati. In our palms is Goddess Saraswati, the Goddess of wisdom, knowledge. And that is where mind also is connected. And towards the base of palms, if one word, Prabhate Varun. So we kind of pay our salutations to these three with Vishnu Mudra. Either this is the second variation, and without twisting the nasal septum, if you see there is a slight groove on our nasal pad with the thumb, right hand thumb constricting the right hand nostril. It can be done. So it's the fire energy regulating the or constricting the nostril, the earth element constricting. So alternate nostril breathing, it brings about a balance between the left hemisphere and the right hemisphere of our brain. Each hemisphere is responsible for parasympathetic and sympathetic nervous system. And bringing that balance, yoga is all about equanimity, and this is Vishnu Mudra helps. So there is a good balance between the elements. Now, each of the elements is also connected to our chakras. So the three elements, like the water element is connected to Swadhisthana chakra, the earth element is connected to Muladhara, and the Agni element is connected to our solar plexus or Manipur chakra. So these three we are using to balance, and the air element is the Anahata chakra that is connected with the throat.
We talked about the water element, which is the smallest finger. So how do we utilize this particular element to cure, say, certain health ailments? So we want to understand from you.
So, like we have summer season now.
Yes.
Okay, we perspire a lot.
Yes.
Not only in this, even in winter season when there is too much of dryness in the skin, tip of index finger touching, not index finger, tip of thumb touching tip of little finger. That brings about a balance in the water level. That helps us stay a little more hydrated and keeps our skin also moist.
Okay,
now,
so this is the pose that we need to practice.
The remaining 3 fingers you can keep them straight.
Okay.
And just a warning, so to say, or caution, Hasta Mudras are used as a complement for alternate modality. They can't totally replace it.
Okay.
Definitely, I have experienced tremendous benefits practicing Hasta Mudra, and one needs to know when to stop practicing it as well, because it shouldn't lead to another extreme.
And
That's the word of.
Since we are talking about hot weather, especially we are in summers at this point in time, so would you suggest anyone to try Agni Mudra or maybe touch their ring finger with the thumb and then perform Hasta Mudra?
Yeah, it should, depending on the temperatures outside, one needs to be very mindful. Apart from that, each individual's body type is different and it varies over the years also. So it's like I very mindfully state this at the beginning of my classes. We all are living, and what our body or mind state was yesterday, it will be very different today. So we need to be aware and practice anything with caution. That's the reason I'm saying, like, the seasons, just the way the seasons change, we change our outfit, dressing style. Also, we feel like drinking or eating different kind of foods in different seasons. Same way with Hasta Mudra. For example, I remember now talking about Agni Mudra, my master practitioner NLP coach, he had returned from a trek in the Himalayas, and to maintain homeostasis in those negative degree temperatures is a challenge.
Yes.
Even though he had returned, and I know he's a frequenter in the Himalayas sector, I just shared with him a Gyan Mudra that is done by interlocking the fingers, keeping the thumb up and circling the index finger and thumb of the other. So this generates heat in the body. Again, one needs to be mindful to what extent it has to be done. Since it generates heat, if a person is in, say, a place where there is minus degree temperature, that will help generate heat and warmth. I myself, when I had been for my Himalayan trip, did practice this Hasta Mudra. But if you've been to the mountains, you know the temperature, like rather you get like clear, bright sunlight. And then for all you know, you may have to practice the Varun Mudra, which is the water balance element. So one needs to be very mindful here, because this practice for a long time. Say if a person already has a high BP or heat in the body, then कुछ देर के लिए अगर happen, it may make, if someone has a temperament of feeling anger and be liquid, then just be mindful not to.
There are so many things to learn, and as I said, the power of the universe is in our hands. That's what I can summarize from what you are mentioning about different mudras that we have. And we are unaware about these facts, which we can really try and calm our senses, calm our stress, and become a little more jubilant in our lives. So one other very important mudra that we practice is Anjali Mudra, and typically for spiritual connection, we want to learn more about how exactly it can be practiced and how it helps us to connect spiritually.
For this particular one.
Anjali, both the hands together. Now, most of us pray in this mudra, or in our Indian tradition, Hindu tradition, we greet namaste by this mudra. This mudra is also used in gratitude. So, the explanation given in yoga texts is, since yoga is itself huge, the word yoga, is vision of the individual soul with the higher soul. And exactly like you said, the connection within. We, each one of us, have the divine or the higher soul in us. And this brings about that connection. And we all are said to be one in most of the philosophies. So that connection that we all are one, or the connection with the higher one, or the divine connection within. And the scientific aspect, if we take, the right part of our body is connected to the left hemisphere of the brain, and left part of our body is connected to the right hemisphere of the brain. So when we unite our hands like this in Anjali, there is a balance between the left and right hemispheres of the brain, as well as there is this balance of right and left side of our.
Wow.
And that brings a balance and helps us stay calm, connected.
I think
Nicely explained. Pranam or Namaskar that we have been practicing in our lives. It's something which adds so much of value and helps calm both the sides of brain. And one other aspect, since we are very emotional and overthink most of the things, create our own scenarios, how using Vidya Mudra help to control our emotions and connect our hearts through our fingers? How does this process work, and how calming it is, how we can utilize
ourselves.
Wonderful question, very much required. So, Vidya Mudra is done by touching tip of index finger to the base of our thumb, and then touching tip of middle finger and ring finger to the tip of thumb. Now, if you see, it forms a triangle. So it is a unison or a connection between the heart, mind, and spirit. And exactly like you said, that we are human beings and itna kuch hota rehta hai, this but chale chitta. So when we touch the index fingertip to the base of thumb, that is our mind comes under control. And by touching tip of thumb to tip of middle finger, that gives us connection to the divine. That opens up more space in the akash or the ether element in our body, which helps expand more oxygen levels, which gives us more clarity. Oxygen is the fuel of each and every cell in our body.
Yes.
That gives us more clarity.
Amazing.
And makes touching tip of thumb to tip of ring finger enhance.
So there is a mudra that actually helps us to reduce hunger pangs. So could you talk about this mudra, like how combining the effects of thumb, ring finger and little finger actually can help us reduce hunger pangs?
Because we cannot suffice
Yes.
without eating, right?
Exactly.
So I had even also read कि Gautam Buddha जब वो forest में गए थे, he got like aversion to the world, even though he was protected from not seeing death, etc. Once when he saw, he was like, okay, what is all this? And he left. And initial phase, he went into a very strict tapa and he fasted a lot, and his body. And there's a saying, bhuke pe bhajan bhi nahi. our body, like balanced diet वगैरह
Yes.
जो बोलते हैं. So, ring finger representing the earth element. Also, the earth itself is made up of 70% water. Similarly, our body is made up of 70% fluid. And having these two elements in balance is very important, and that is what touching the tip of thumb to any of the elements balances that element. So when we touch tip of thumb to tip of ring finger and tip of little finger, that the earth element in our body forms the bones, the muscles, the tissues, the tendons, is balanced, and water, blood is in a state of fluid. That is what keeps our body vital. Even the digestive enzymes, hormones, all these are in liquid.
Yes.
So these two elements are balanced. And that is why during fasting, or I myself practice it during long journeys, like when I know I'm going to be having long gaps between my meals, etc. So that is how it gives us value of vital energy.
We had a very interesting discussion today about each of these mudras, and I would love to have, more detailed discussion on one single aspect of these going ahead. If you have to summarize today's discussion and share, say, 3 recommendations that everyone can take back home today and practice in day-to-day lives, what would be your 3 recommendations for our daily practice?
Preferably do it under the guidance of a trained Hasta Mudra practitioner, because if it backfires any practice, I just do it mindfully. Like you need to really be so much mindful that when it be like say on a daily basis 5 minutes or 15 minutes for practice of Hasta Mudra is done. And if you see any drastic changes that are causing discomfort, immediately consult someone or stop doing the Hasta Mudra. Yeah, like you said, that's the reason we Indians prefer eating with our hands, because it balances all the punch and technique. Down in the Vidya Mudra is, since the space element is enhanced, it helps us be more compassionate and empathetic, not only towards everyone else, but towards ourselves.
Thank you so much, Mehek, for your time today, and would love to host you once again for the next episode of Fitness Pro Chat with Fiterobic. Thank you so much to all of you watching this, and we look forward to once again hosting you for another exciting episode. And do follow us on at Fiterobic on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to Fitness Pro Chat by Fiterobic. We hope you had key takeaways from today's episode and learned something new. Don't forget to download and subscribe so you don't miss the next episode. And leave us a rating and review on your favorite platform. In the meantime, reach out to us on Instagram at Fiterobic or through our website, fiterobic.com. And remember, failures will only make you strong and better learned. Take care, stay healthy, and live a fulfilling life with Fiterobic.